Hello, everyone, and welcome for this webinar. Today, we have the pleasure to welcome you and to talk about our third year program in English. So, I'm here today with Luc, who's the head of the program of this third year bachelor. Hello, Luc.
Hello, Sabine. Hello, everybody.
So thank you for joining us. If you're watching in replay this video, I'm Celine. I'm the International Recruitment Manager at the school, and today we will dive into this program if you're interested to join us. So first, to start, I would like to share with you some important information about the program and about our school. So we are a prestigious design school. We are among our top three of the best design school in France. We have the best postgraduate program as well. And what is important is that all our diplomas are recognized by the French state, meaning that we deliver a bachelor grade and a master grade. In addition to that, we are member of the Conférence des Grandes Écoles, which is a French association of leading higher education schools. So again, it's a sign of the fact that our school are really, really renowned and have really great qualification. And in addition to that, our school is associated with Nantes University, so we are part of programs such as Erasmus and Cruz Alces. I don't know if you have ever heard about Nantes or if you do know where Nantes is located. Actually, Nantes is located here near the ocean. We are 2 hours by train from Paris. We also have a great airport, so you can travel when you're studying in Nantes. You can travel in Europe and discover the different capitals that we have. The school has been created in 1988, meaning that we have now a great, experience and background about design. We welcome at school around 1,700 students, and what is important for you is that we welcome students from different parts of the world. We welcome around 46 nationalities at the school, meaning that if you'd like to join us, you won't be the only international. And because the fact that the school has been created now for many years, we have a strong network of alumni that are students that you can, rely on contact for internships or maybe finding a job afterwards. We have numerous teachers and professionals, and by professionals, we mean, actual designers in the actual world that come for specific classes for you. So it ensure the fact, again, that you have the last, design tendencies and so on. What is important as you for that is that we have a strong corporate partners that are companies that we are working with, that we have really strong bonds with. And in addition to that, it means that we can be working on concrete design projects for some companies. And as we are part of the Erasmus program, we welcome partners, we have partners, and we welcome students from many, again, parts of the world, and that ensure the fact that by joining the school, you will be able to make friends with other, students from, again, a different part of the world. So here you have some pictures about Nantes because Nantes is a city of history and creativity. We have our own castle. We have really like nice ancient buildings as well that creates nice view and nice architecture. We also have a strong and nice transportation system. You can have some buses. Here you can see the tram. So it, allow you to move into the city really, really easily. And we are famous for many cultural events, but the one that, students and like and tourists as well is what we call the elephant, our own elephant. So actually, it's like a mechanical wooden made elephant. So you can climb into it and make a tour about in the island. And actually, the fact that our school is located just to this elephant, so it show you the fact that our school is really well, located. So it's located in the creative district, as we call it, in the island of Nantes. This picture has been taken from the roof of the school So you can see that the area is really green. Actually, in this very specific place, this is where the elephant sleeps. So you can see that we are really close and really in the center of the creative area um, in Nantes. Um, Here you have, an insight about our campus and our school. We are really proud about this really nice and modern building. This very specific place here, it's called Agora. So this is where students can meet, they can work on their projects. Sometimes we have workshops happening into the Agora. They can chill as well. So it's like really like a living space and living area into the school. But what is important for you is that it's an extraordinary playground. So we have more than 700 square meters of workshops. We have machines, ceramic, resin, flexible, painting booths, everything you need it, we have it. So again, it's really great, yes, way to discover design and again having really amazing projects that you will be working on. We also have studio for different production and experimentation. We have computer workstations, everything again, you need it, this is there. So here you have some pictures about the amazing workshops that we have at the school. So when you do join the school, you have, training about how to use the machines. Some of them can be used with autonomy. Others need a teacher to be with you, but anyway, you do receive a training to how to use that. Also, all materials are provided for your projects, meaning that you won't have to buy wood or ceramic or anything. They will be provided for you to work on your different projects for the school. Here again, another pictures of the workshops. You can see that our students are having, fun to create their design projects. Here you have as well an insight about the technological tools that we have. And again, they are part of your program and part of the projects that you will be working on. And we wanted to share with you the fact that our school is part of a bigger picture. We are an international school, meaning that we have different places across the world when we welcome students for the master program. Some of them are taught in French and some of them are taught in English. But for this very specific bachelor program, we will be looking here in not about the program that you will be following with us in France, but in English. And this program is the International Third Year Bachelor. So here you have a picture about the class of this third year bachelor. And what is important for you to understand is that you will be willing to join us into the third year. And again, as I mentioned at the beginning of this webinar, this bachelor program is recognized by the French state. So you will get an official degree, what is called DNMAT. So it's National Diploma in Fine Arts, Crafts and Design. And when you will be joining the third year, at the end of the third year, you will get this diploma after graduation. We have three specialties for the third year bachelor. So again, you will be able to join us if you have studied 2 years or 3 years, depending if you have a 4-year bachelor in your country. So you will be able to join us and join one of those three specialties. So we have digital media, interior design, and industrial design, meaning that you will need to have studied the same specialty in the previous year of your bachelor in order to join us for that and continue and finish, your diploma at the school in Nantes. Luc, maybe you want to explain how the year is organized and what students will be working on.
Sure, sure. The third year of DNMAD is the last year of an undergraduate program. So it means that it's a final year, and the main project of this year will be a personal project. That is a kind of end of study project if you have that bottom line of the bachelor. And that personal project has to be developed all through the year by the students. It's a personal project, so they have to choose their topic. Topic has to be relevant and has to have opportunities in terms of design development. But the first stage will be going through a very detailed research to understand the context, the users that can be involved, all the subplots and sub-situation that needs to be understood, and also go through the literature, scientific literature, but also field exploration, interviews. That's a very important process in the first 3 months of the year, when the students get to know in a very detailed and thorough way their topic and their ground, actually the ground for their project. So at the end, they are 2 designers to guide them through this, and we guide them with our own design methodology. But in the end, they'll have to come up with a design question that has to be grounded in their research, and a design question that can be addressed with design solutions. So that's the end of the first semester for the personal project. And all that research, all that reflection about that topic has to be encompassed into quite a short dissertation, but it's a dissertation all the same. And that dissertation will be defended in front of a formal jury at the end of the semester. That's a very important part of the semester, but that's not all, because there are many side projects and classes that we might talk about a bit later. And during the second part of the year, as far as the personal project is concerned, the students during the first part of the second semester will have to come up with 2 or 3 concepts, elaborate concepts, that will address the design question they came up with at the end of the first semester. So all this has to be documented and formalized into sketches, user scenarios, and user studies and technical studies too. And the final stage of that personal project during the second semester will be the development of the chosen concept into a fully developed project. And fully developed, it doesn't have to be completely functional, but there has to be a model or prototype and principal models too, so that we can be sure that it's relevant and realistic and makes sense and is relevant to the design question that came prior to that final project. So this is the main thing, because that's a bit of the students' masterpiece for their bachelor program, and there's going to be a lot of attention, focus, and classes going through that personal project. But aside from this, there's going to be also quite a wide array of projects and classes, that evolve around that personal project. I don't know if you can change the slide.
Yeah, we hear you have description about the different classes. Maybe you would like to do. And I've had it as well, an example of the planning that I can have for like a semester.
Yeah, sure. So you can see a planning for the first semester, showing that we have a series of regular classes weeks, that is the light blue weeks, and also workshops, or the darker blue weeks on the planning, show workshops when students work on only one topic, one project at a time. Sometimes we mix all the students from all 6 or 7 groups of the international third year of DNMAD together, so that they can have a larger view on their project and work with different students. But at other times, they're going to work in their specialty on one topic, one project a week. But most of the time, there's going to have different classes happening at the same during the same week, not at the same time, but during the same week. So on the left of the slide, we can have an example. I think it's quite complete, actually, a list of the subjects that you're going to have during both semesters, actually. So the first semester, those classes will have their specific shorter project or exercises, but during the second semester, they will mostly focus on the personal project, because it's going to be the time when you have to develop your personal project. So, for instance, the technology and materials class during the second semester, it's going to focus on the needs of your personal project. So that, the whole group of subjects and classes can feed your personal project, so that in the end it's complete, detailed, and totally relevant.
Which is great, because it can be adapted to your project, and not only generic, but also adapted. So it's really great.
Exactly.
Great. So I had some pictures as well about the machine workshops that they have. Can you maybe share the details about that?
Yeah, sure. The machine workshops here at school are a very important place. They are rather new. That school we are in today was built 3 or 4 years ago, and we've been here for 4 years. So they're pretty new. They're quite huge, and we have a large variety of machines that allow students to work, experiment, build whenever they need. There are classes like, technology and materials, when students will be all together within the machine workshops, testing and experimenting technologies and materials. But every student here at school has the possibility to go to the machine workshop, to book a specific machine, to ask for guidance from one of the technicians working there, and deepen their knowledge and their skills concerning that or that other technique or machine. So that's a very important part of the school when where we invite the students to spend some time, because we know that it's also by working with their hands and building and organizing volumes and materials that the project in the end might make sense. And it's also true for, maybe that's the next slide, it's also true for digital students, obviously, because we also have a digital lab where the students can experiment all kinds of a really wide number of technologies, and get assistance from the technicians to understand which technologies they could use, which one is most interesting regarding the aim of their project. And then they can experiment, test, and finally prototype their work. So we consider it's a major step in every project to understand the kind of technique and technology you're going to use, and be able to understand it quite well. At times, it won't be possible to master every aspect of the technology, but and then you can be helped, or you can get some help from technicians. But to understand how it works, how much you can use it, to what extent, and everything, and what would be the cost, for instance, is very important to make your projects relevant and realistic.
I've added the video because we do like this video about the workshop.
Yeah, that's an example of a workshop made by the students from the digital group of video mapping, which is quite common right now, but here combined with a laser, so that the laser and the video mapping seem to interfere and interact and have an influence on each other. So there's music with that, because the question of the rhythm was important, but the idea was to explore all that feeling of interaction between video and lasers. And that's a very, very pleasant and interesting workshop. The music was nice on that one.
Yeah.
It's God, we don't have it. I think,
You can hear it?
no, we can't hear it. But I
Oh,
think
okay.
it was the music from Interstellar
Yeah, yeah.
movie.
Yeah, I can, yeah, and I will share it as well by email, just the link because yeah, the music is really nice and it put, yes, a great, mix with the digital. Yeah. But yes.
That is an example of what students do during a workshop. This is not a personal project. This is a group project made by three students, if I'm right, and they've worked for 5 days together to come up with that final project.
Yeah. And as we mentioned, the fact that we have three specialties for the third year bachelor, we have selected with Luc an example of a project for each specialty. So you can, have I would say, an insight about what it can be and to project yourself. Maybe you'd like to share with us, Luc, about this project, about how make classical music accessible for everyone.
Yeah, sure. That student, she's a very young student, 20 years old or so, and she was wondering, her starting point was she was wondering why students or people our generation were not so much interested in classical music. So she went through research and she gathered some data which confirmed her first impression and first idea, but she wanted to understand why, I'm not completely certain about the whys anymore because it's been a few years. But the idea after that was how can we make classical music more accessible to younger people. And one of the obstacles was the younger generation would not feel interested or even authorized to go to very institutional places like operas or national theaters, and which are the places we think of to begin with when we think of classical music. So that's when she traveled around in France, but also in Europe, that she noticed that when people were playing music in public spaces, like pianos in the halls of train stations, or people just playing music in the streets, then there was a much greater variety of people stopping by and being interested, and even younger people, her generation. So that was a key point or a starting point, and she wondered how she could work around that situation or work with that situation using the fleeting but real interest that young people would have for classical music in public spaces. So she came up with the idea of an application that would allow you to film or to record somebody who's playing the music in a train station, for instance, and that guy or that woman playing the music would have an account on this application so that she could use a QR code that you can scan as a viewer and then get information on the app about who she or he is, what kind of music he's playing, upload the video, but also see former videos of former performances, know more about the composers and musicians that a musician would be interested in, also know about the places she or he will be playing for the next days, in which part of the city, but also get in touch with people interested, a whole network of people being interested in classical music, but in a very informal way. But also, it had very practical aspects, like tipping a musician. Most of us, we don't have coins or bills anymore, and it makes it impossible to tip a musician playing in the street. So that with the application, you could easily just leave a few euros or pounds to the musician just using the application. So it had a very interesting aim at putting people in touch, people interested, informally interested in classical music or just curious about it, but also making sure that you could know more about the person playing and the kind of music and composers he or she is into.
Mm. Another example, maybe for the industrial product this time.
Yeah. That one was from a French student in industrial product. His starting point was he noticed as a user of gyms that that is really the vast majority of gym equipments was not adapted to people with physical disability. So he thought it was a shame, but also as a product designer, he wondered how he could help that situation, improve that situation. And his idea was, I'm going very fast because there were different stages during the project, but his main idea was he didn't want to create a gym equipment that would be for the use of people with physical disability only, and then there would be the other equipment for people without physical disability. So his main guideline was it had to be an equipment for everybody and every kind of body. So he worked, and he decided also that he didn't want to work on one single piece of equipment, but he wanted to create a whole range. So he decided to create a treadmill, weight machines, but also a rower. And in the end, he went through a lot of observations. For instance, he went to specific spaces, gyms, more or less addressed to people with physical disabilities, to meet those people, to understand their needs, to understand their problems, the kind of difficulties they had. And he could also make pictures, had interviews and everything, so that he could finally and precisely and very concretely observe the kind of limits and problems they had using the usual machines. So he could decide on adaptations that would be fit for people staying in a wheelchair, for instance, but also for people who have their whole physical capacities. And in the end, he made a huge research on materials and forms and style and shapes and everything. And he came up with 3 pieces of equipment that were really detailed, functional, and very relevant and in every way.
A great example, yeah. And last project is more about interior design.
Yeah, it's interior design, but it's working in the outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not a large scale. It doesn't concern architecture. It concerns really how you organize a space and circulation in a space. And here it's really about how you can help reducing or even preventing the damages caused by mass tourism in natural sites. So it shows a very well-known place in France, which is l'Aiguille Creuse d'Étretat in the north of France, in Normandy, which has cliffs hanging on the sea, and these have very unfamiliar and strange shapes, so that attracts a lot of tourists for France, at least. I think it's 1,400,000 people every year, but it's a natural site. So all those people walking on the cliffs cause these damages, and the cliff may end up crumbling, and the site itself has its own points of fragility. So we wanted to propose something that would be different. And his final direction was to propose a view on that site from the sea, let's say, and a different point of view, because people would have that habit of walking on the cliff. And they said, okay, let's see if we can lead people to have a look from the beach, but also from the surface of the sea. So we thought of a whole route made of a platform, a wooden platform at moments, but also some kind of route made of a environment-friendly cement made of crushed seashell and another element that I don't remember. But also there would be a floating platform so that the tourist would be able to see the whole site in a different way, but also in a very unusual and entertaining way, because walking on the sea or on a platform, obviously, but on a platform on the sea and having those floating platforms would create a new experience and prevent damaging the site itself.
Yeah. It would be cool if it
It
could
would be
be.
cool. I would go there, yeah,
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah.
me too. Me too. So we can jump into some information as well about student life in Nantes. We know that students look in your bachelor are really happy to the city and the cultural events that they can have and the yes different places they can go and again as we mentioned to travel into Europe. So again, Nantes is really a city that is really friendly for students, and again, that will, uh, ensure the fact that you will have a great experience at the school and in Nantes and in France, basically with all the culture that you can have access to as well. We talk about food, so you can as well have, food and everything that make France such as unique country. We wanted to share with you the fact that we have everything covered to welcome our international students into the program. For that, we have a platform that is called Fil Français that we help you with all the administrative, steps once you have been admitted to the school. In addition to that, we have International Week, we have integration events, we have a buddy system, we have everything again planned to welcome you and as an international student coming for the bachelor program, for example, you will have access to a room with a cruise. So we have access to cruise room that have a cheaper rent and that can ensure you to find a room easily at the school. So if you would like to join us for this bachelor program, you have only three, easy steps to do. First step is to create your application to our website. Then once your application is complete, you can just have to share the documents. So we have a portfolio, resume, academic transcripts, cover letter, and some English tests as well to ensure the fact that you will be able to, follow the class in English. And once your application is complete, you will have a review by the pedagogic team. And if your application, is valid, you will have an interview one-on-one with Luc here present. And so you will have a direct interview with him to share who you are, share the projects you have been working on, just to get to know you. There is no tricky question, just again to understand who you are, what has been your background so far, and why you'd like to join the school, and that's it. About tuition fees for non-European students, it will be 9,900 euro for the year. And so yeah, again, the process is pretty quick. So we make sure the fact that once you are ready to apply, you receive, and I'd say feedback within 2 weeks maximum time to be sure that you are ready after to plan your next chapter at the school in France with us. So thank you, guys. Thank you, Luc, for being with
Thank you very
us
much. Yeah.
for this webinar and sharing the amazing projects that students have been working on and sharing, the program that is again really great as well for the bachelor. So we hope to see you soon in Nantes. And if you have any question, don't hesitate to reach out to us. Thank you very much. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.